Hello, everyone. I'm Krooked, and I do stuff, and this is Unscripted, the series where I take a completely unscripted look at games and give it a 1 through 10 rating. Today, we are playing Rule of Rose for the PlayStation 2. Just because I know horror games have an issue with brightness a lot of the time. Cool. That looks nice and bright, and can I just turn that up? All right. So this comes as a recommendation from my good buddy Drewski. Again, with this series, I skip all cutscenes, and the reason why is if you want the story, great. It's technically not what we're here for. Because story in games, I mean, that is subjective, right? Like, you're either going to like the story or you're not. I know people who don't play for story at all. I know people who only play for story. So we're focusing on the gameplay. Suddenly, the girl was all alone. Okay. I'm all alone. The young girl Jennifer has no choice but to surrender to the unsettling predicament. Oh, what an unlucky girl. So this game's kind of notorious for being super duper expensive because it's a 2000s Atlas game. Most people today know Atlas for Persona, but back in the day, they were known for making very niche, obscure games that were very rare. If you didn't if you went into a store and you bought an Atlas game, you could hold on to it and make like 4 times your money's worth within a short period of time. And if you didn't buy it, you're never seeing that game again without dropping a pretty penny. So that was Atlas in the 2000s. I'm glad they're a lot easier to get their games now. So, okay. That's a weird mechanic. A dog bark. All right. How does a dog beckon you to come? Strange Hill. Oh, well, at least we're not in Silent Hill, right? So this is kind of cool. As you approach the dog, the noises get louder, so it's kind of a cool effect, honestly. And we get into here. I like the graininess that makes it look like an older movie. You could turn that off in the settings, as we saw, but yeah. Paper tied to the dog's collar. Boarding pass has a fish on it. Cool. The name Brown is on the collar. Why would you just name your dog Brown? That's a dumb name. I don't see a dog. But I suppose that's fine that I can't see a dog. Dilapidated cart, blah, 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 blah. You can save there. I don't know what I just interacted with to save, but I'm going to go back outside. Sound, it sounds like I'm outside. It's a rusted well. Cold air flows from inside. This game is dark as well, as a lot of the PS2 games I've been playing. Little difficult to see kind of what's going on here. I'm faring a little bit better than I did in like Fatal Frame 2, but still very, very dark. I think it's just something back when the PlayStation 2 was a thing. They had issues because I remember even back in the day, like renting games, I would just not be able to see some without turning my brightness up a ridiculous amount, and it's kind of same boat here. It's super hard to see, and no amount of brightness adjustment on my TV has changed anything for any of it. which is also kind of a problem with any sort of retro game on today's consoles, because if you're using any sort of an HDMI adapter, you're kind of limited to what you have. That creates a problem because for a lot of games like this, you have display issues where you're just not able to see properly. That factors a lot into how playable a game is today, because if you use an HDMI upscaler, this might be something that you run into where a game does lose its playability and does lose a lot of the reason to play. So are they just beating the dog? How dare they? I will end them. Oh, and then I can just watch the cutscene again. That's nice. Can I not do anything to, like, save the dog? So far I don't know any of the controls other than the R1 makes you, like, whimper walk. I think that's the best way to say it, because you're, like, whimpering and walking. This starts out really, really slow. And that's creepy as all hell. The one thing that the PlayStation 2 games have done really well is any of the sound design. It's been really creepy in, like, all the ways that you want it to be creepy. So you have to select an item from your menu to use it. And I do have I do have the boarding pass. So I'm gonna go into here. Oh, I thought that said spellbook. I was like, spells? Okay. Nothing happened, but I have boarding pass. Can I use it here? I don't like games that make you be in a certain, like, position to use it. That should have worked on the door itself too, you know, but it didn't, because it just didn't. Yeah, because you have to use the boarding pass on the sign instead of the door, which is wild. So that door is locked. There's graffiti on the wall. Graphically, the game, other than being super dark, is pretty good. I mean, it looks like your typical PlayStation 2 game. Has pretty decent character models. And again, I really like the filter that makes it look like it's being filmed like an old movie on film. I think that's awesome. Again, downside is, even though this is much brighter than Fatal Frame was, it's still a bit of a struggle to see what exactly is going on. I do want to say my capture itself is a bit brighter than the TV screen that I'm playing on, so there's that. But if you're wondering why I'm harping so much on that, because it's a big part. If you can't see the game you're playing, it makes it really hard to play. I'm not finding anything with the controls, honestly, because Square doesn't do anything that I've found so far. Circle doesn't do anything. Triangle doesn't do anything. R1 does the little whimper walk. Nothing else does anything. I found that Trail of Blood. And you can interact with that a lot. Entrance this way, but I can't actually go in. Oh, I guess I can. I just have to interact with the door next to it. I don't really dig that. Creepy music kicks in. Yeah, so look at it. The character models are great. The scenery is great. It's very spooky. It's very scary. Very demure. Um, but it's so hard to see what's going on. And this is all set up. Like, there's nothing game yet, and we're like 10 minutes in. I'm sure that this game really picks up later. It's just having a setup like this is going to be a turnoff for a lot of people because they're going to, try playing it and they're just going to be like, okay, blah, blah, blah. Let me get through it. And that's skipping like cutscenes. If you didn't skip the cutscenes and stuff, this could potentially be even longer before you actually start to play the game. I like the scenery a lot from what I'm seeing because it has the whole horror aspect. It sounds creepy. Normally, I don't want to rate a game that I haven't gotten to do anything in, but in terms of like just running around exploring, it doesn't get you in as quickly as Silent Hill, but it's creepy and it's spooky. And there's a lot of closed doors, and if it wasn't for the darkness being a factor, this would probably be a lot more enjoyable. I think I'm gonna have to go right down the middle for this one because it has some really good aspects, and it has some that aren't so good, and the aren't so good are pretty hard on it. The good is pretty good though. So I think for a score, I'm gonna have to give Rule of Rose a 5 out of 10. It likely evolves much more into a game. It's just trying to get into it today. It starts off really slow. The fact that if you have a TV that can't display certain things or certain ways, you just can't play the game properly. That hurts it a lot. And the fact that it takes so long to get anywhere, that's pretty hard. But it is very creepy. And, I mean, the character models look good. The sound is good. It's just kind of hard to really appreciate it to the point of everyone can enjoy it because not everyone can. And that makes it hard. So, comment down below. Let me know if you've ever played Rule of Rose. Like this video if you enjoyed what you saw. Hit that subscribe button. That way you never miss out on an episode of Unscripted. And hit that notification bell. That way you'll be notified whenever a new episode comes out. And with all that being said, I do want to thank you for watching Unscripted. And I will see you on the next episode. Bye!